All right. Welcome back to Lockdown Sports, the home of semi-temporary content now. I am TikTok famous. You're just gonna have to deal with it. There might be a bit of ego in these videos, but it's not like that ego wasn't there before the views. So you've all seen the photo, right? You've all seen the photoshopped, most doctored photo in the world of Messi and Ronaldo both playing a game of chess, a game that we don't even know if they're able to play. And that might be one of the few things we are better than Messi and Ronaldo at. When you think about that photo, I think a lot of people, right, they immediately just thought to their minds, Portugal finishes first, Argentina finishes first, and they draw up this bracket in their heads of Portugal versus Argentina, Messi versus Ronaldo in the World Cup final. And it's like, it's natural. Like, if you want the two GOATs to fight it out, if you want to have a definitive answer, I get that. I get that. But for me, the beauty of having this little Messi Ronaldo conversation, and I'm definitely on more Messi's side now, and it's not just because I'm a United fan. The beauty of the conversation for me is in the fact that there's no clear answer. And I know there's a lot of people on either side that feel that their answer is the clear answer, but that right there, that disagreement between the Messi and Ronaldo fans is what makes those conversations at the pub so interesting. It would be a shame for me if we could no longer have that debate. And I know if Ronaldo wins the World Cup, Messi fans will still try and find a way. They'll still try and find some underlying numbers. And I know if Ronaldo fans see Messi lift the World Cup after contemplating a lot of deep, mentally ill thoughts, you're going to see them still stick to their guy. And it's this like brute mentality we've got now. Everyone is so stubborn in their view over the past 5, 10 years because we've seen these guys at the top of their game. And I don't blame you if you stick heavily on one side. I've been down the middle for most of the last 10 years. And Ronaldo's just done an interview with Piers Morgan. So naturally, we're no longer on that side. But for me, there's three clear reasons why I don't want Messi or Ronaldo lifting the World Cup. And I know I see you guys. Oh, Argentina's a favorite. This is Messi's moment. And I see you guys on the other hand, like Ronaldo, everything's against him right now. I see all of it. Trust me, I do. But these are the three reasons why I don't want either of them winning the World Cup. Number one, this Portugal team is an atrocity. Simply put, the football that they've played, including the Euros win, is not good football. You're looking at a team that finished in the Euros third in their group, that won that Euros. You look at the Italy team that won the Euros last time with two penalty shootout wins. The strength of these teams that won international tournaments is not always great, and that leads me to think anyone can win this World Cup. I would hate if this Portugal side that's great on paper actually lifts that trophy come the end of December, because what that means for all the other teams that are building good projects, that are playing good football, that have great build up, to see a team like this play so directly towards one guy and not sync well with some creative players that are having some issues working with each other, that would be a shame because that means a lot of other teams, a lot of better teams have missed out. Now, the second reason for me is going back to that conversation about having that debate with your mates. That conversation about who's the GOAT, that's gotten me through many a last period of school. It's gotten me through many a boring class. It's gotten me through a lot of lectures just thinking about what these players bring to the game. So I want to ask you the question, do you really want to define the legacy of Messi and Ronaldo at the ages of 35 and 36? Do you really want this moment to define Ronaldo's legacy if he wins the World Cup? Of course, it's tribute to him, I guess, with the way Portugal's playing, with the way he's playing so badly. You saw them playing the friendly without him. Look how freely they're flowing. That's not going to happen in the World Cup. And you look at someone like Messi, who's still okay. He's back at it with another decent season at PSG now. Very good season, I'd say. But he had a bad season last year. Do you really want Messi at 35, 34, whatever it is, defining his career with the next 5, 6 games? So for me, that little sample size and this stage of the career, I really don't think this is the time to be having your GOAT discussion ending on this point. But nevertheless, I know you guys. I know I'm guilty of this too. I'd confess to it as well. So when the World Cup happens, all this logic of it's only 5, 6 games, anything can happen, don't take it too seriously, gets thrown out the window because we build so much of this patriotism, whatever you want to call it, this feeling towards these teams. I don't even really have a country in this World Cup. Obviously, there's Australia. Obviously, there's a few countries overseas that I like a few players from, but I don't really have a horse in the race. So for me, I can just sit back, watch as a neutral, and just enjoy the 6 weeks of chaos. But for a lot of you, it is personal. So I understand that emotional side. If I see Australia go to the quarterfinals or round of 16, you're going to see people really elevate a player's legacy. And it's these sort of things that are great about cup football, right? The magic of the cup, we call it with FA Cups. It's these sort of things that have a downside because I really don't want to do this accolade analysis, man. I really hate it. I despise that Wikipedia honors section because analyzing that in its isolation, do you know what we're doing? We're putting aside all the good performances. We're putting aside all the reasons players weren't able to win those trophies. I know many a good player that hasn't won that trophy. I know many a bad player that has won that trophy. Anyways, let's move on to point 3. Sticking pretty much with the sense that, is this really the time to judge Messi and Ronaldo? Look at all the situations surrounding this World Cup. Look at the state that we're in now with football. Look at the fact that it's in the middle of a jam-packed season after a previous jam-packed season with both the Copa and the Euros. Are players really going to be performing at that high intensity level that you want from a World Cup? Are players really going to give you that after not having like 2 weeks off? The Premier League was on last Monday, 7 days ago. Brazil got into Qatar today, a couple days before their World Cup starts. It's these sort of things that lead me to think a mid-season World Cup isn't really the right time nor place to judge either of these players' legacies. Logic's out the window in the next 6 weeks, and it would be a shame if 30, 40 years down, we forget the little things, you know. I see so many old heads do it now, just break it down into trophies, diminish other players, and I really don't want this World Cup to define who the GOAT is in your eyes, Messi or Ronaldo. Let's have that conversation 30, 40 years down the line. Until then, stay locked in.